So not too much because you don't want to dilute the alcohol. You want to have a very refreshing and delicious drink. Hey, and welcome back to the Silly Kitchen, where today I'm going to show you how I like to make my version of a sangria. So I'm going to call it the Silly Sangria because it is the Silly Kitchen, if you didn't get that. But I don't really know what a traditional sangria consists of. I think anytime I've ever had one, it's like red wine with some liquor, or white wine with some liquor. So I decided that I was gonna create my own, and I really loved it. I will warn you, it's a little potent because we are going to use tequila. We are also going to use a little bit of Cointreau, and pick your favorite bottle of red wine, or if you have just wine sitting around that you haven't really had a chance to open and you're not sure about, something on the drier side is what I would suggest, because we're adding a lot of different flavors and some sweetness to this already. On top of that, you need a little bit of orange juice, a little squeeze of lemon or lime juice. I'm gonna have some fresh blueberries to include in my sangria. And remember a couple episodes back, I made margaritas, and I made my own jalapeno simple syrup. I'm gonna use a little bit of that in this recipe as well, but that is something that you can omit. It is not something that you have to use. You can completely just skip that step if you don't want that little zing in there. Let's get started putting all of this together. Now, typically I don't measure in this kitchen, but for the sake of the recipe, let's just go ahead and put 2 ounces of tequila. And yes, I'm using whatever this is called, a measuring cup to make this, because I don't really have anything else right now that I want to use. Now, 2 ounces of tequila, 1 ounce of Cointreau goes in there, and we're gonna top that up with about a cup of red wine. I'm just gonna go with what was left in that bottle from last night. Okay, so we've got that going on. We're gonna add in about half a cup of orange juice, good old non-pulp orange juice. If you're making a bigger batch of this, obviously you can kind of do the math and change it up. But if you're using 1 cup of wine, then we're gonna use half a cup of orange juice. Okay, we are gonna squeeze a tiny bit of some lemon juice in there. And because I do want it a little zingy, I'm gonna add some simple syrup that I made infused with jalapenos. Again, guys, you can skip this step, but I really like the zing that this adds. I mean, it's not too spicy, to be honest. It just gives a little bit of heat right at the end. So now that my measuring cup has all of the ingredients in there and I've mixed it with a spoon, I really like drinking sangria out of this goblet looking glass. And again, guys, like I said, I have fresh blueberries. If I had raspberries, I might throw some of those in there. Blackberries, whatever you want to do to add a fruit into your sangria. Because it's a red wine sangria, I'm using the darker berries. If I was making a white wine sangria, I might use like mangoes and pineapples and things like that. But that's it, that's all. So now the way that we do this is that you pour your sangria over ice. And the final step that we didn't talk about is to spritz your sangria at the end. So don't do it if you're making a big batch, don't add your spritz part into the big bowl, because you don't want it to go flat and sit there too long. You want to do it as you pour. So I'm actually going to use some diet ginger ale, but if you have, let's say, just like Perrier water, sparkling water, soda water, if you don't want that extra sweetness, that would also be a good option. So not too much because you don't want to dilute the alcohol. You want to have a very refreshing and delicious drink, but you also want to feel the alcohol. I wish I was on a beach with this right now. Oh. I'm gonna have fun with this drink. This is like my newest little concoction that I really like. And I highly recommend making a big batch of this and just keep topping it up on a Saturday night and having a good time. It looks pretty, it tastes delicious. That little bit of jalapeno zing is in there if you want it. And I don't know what else to say. And cheers. Cheers to a silly sangria. And thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more episodes, please hit that subscribe button. They're not all alcohol episodes. I do a lot of cooking. I've even started baking. But because this sangria turned out so nice, I wanted to share it with you. Okay, I'm gonna stop taking sips on camera and finish it off camera. Thank you again. Cheers, and I'll see you next time.